Before we begin, we just wanted to give all our listeners a very big welcome and thank you for joining us on this new journey. We're so excited to share this with you and we hope to entertain you along the way. Special shout out to our family and friends for supporting and encouraging us to get this pod started. We'd love to hear from you as well, all things good and bad and everything in between. So please share your thoughts on inthemoodforamovie@gmail.com. Yeah, that's right, the name of the show. And you can also follow us on Instagram @inthemoodforamovie. Without further ado, here we go. Welcome to In the Mood for a Movie. I'm your host, Jeremy, and joining me is my brother, Brad. This is a movie podcast where we have conversations about film one of us has picked. The catch is, it will be the first time someone else is seeing that movie. Today, the movie is The Best Offer. Brad, you're a trusted pursuer of women. Can you tell us what we're covering today?
All right, cool. So yeah, we'll kick things off with why we picked the movie, break down the plot, share our thoughts, dive into some box office trivia, and explore the weird and wonderful things that we discovered while researching it. We'll jump into our favorite segments, hand out some awards, give it a rating, and see where it lands on our all-time leaderboard.
Just a word of warnings or spoiler alert. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, pause now, go away, watch it, come back, listen. Or listen anyway and enjoy the show and then go back and let us know what we missed. But just to reiterate, there will be spoilers.
There will definitely be spoilers in this one.
As mentioned, today we'll be discussing The Best Offer, 2013 film written and directed by the Italian filmmaker Giuseppe Torrento, starring Jeffrey Rush, Donald Sutherland, Sylvia Hooks, and Jim Sturgis. Brad, is this a love story, heist movie, one of the great portrayals? What is it?
Oh, that's a good one. I was actually thinking about this just before we did the pod, and I don't know if it's heist. I think it's more of like a con movie, like a scam kind of movie.
Yeah, double cross.
Yeah, double cross. Yeah. So I was going to say, the reason why I sort of chose this movie for you and for everybody, I guess, is that I'm always a sucker for an ending where the bad guys get away. So the first time I saw this, I was genuinely shocked at the depth of the scam when the payoff happened. So from there until the end of the movie, I was just like, oh, what? And
is
yeah,
Virgil a bad guy though?
Well, I was going to ask you that. My question to you was, did Virgil deserve this?
Good question. I don't know if he deserved it to the degree he did. I guess it would depend on what Donald Sutherland's cut was or Billy's cut was. But I don't know if he completely deserved to get his heart ripped out from underneath him and then left with, I guess, a lot of priceless paintings also gone as well. Should we go through the thoughts on the movie and then we go to the plot?
Yeah, definitely. Well, do you want to start?
I guess my thoughts on the movie.
Yeah, I'm keen to hear what you've obviously this is the first time you've seen it. Did I pick something good?
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I thought the movie was good. I also enjoyed it watching it the second time around, so I've watched it twice now. I did think after the first one, what a tragedy. The first time as well, I found it a bit suspenseful. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen. I thought the music played well in that, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a thriller than what it was.
I got something on the
second
music later.
time, not so much. I didn't really pick up. I wasn't as much thriller as it was the second time. But I was really able to watch Virgil's transformation, I guess, the second time round. So watching from the person or the man he is at the start to the person he is at the end. A little bit with Claire as well. I got that transformation as well the second time round.
Yeah.
And I guess at first I thought Robert had kidnapped Claire. Or something to do with that.
Okay. That's good,
But the whole movie is effectively centered around Virgil with him being in every scene. So I felt like it was kind of a first-person point of view of what Virgil was up to. What are your thoughts here, King Timor?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I like your take on that he thought Robert ran away with Claire. And it's funny because you say that obviously when Robert's girlfriend does come to him and says that he's been talking about someone named Claire, I guess yeah. I mean, I can easily see how you thought that. So yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
plausible.
yeah, yeah. And then I get. Oh, sorry, I didn't let you finish.
No, I was just gonna say, like, obviously, I think it's like a hidden gem. I think people that have seen it, obviously, now that you've told me your thoughts, I'm glad that you did like it. But I think people that have seen it probably do like it. And then even if you haven't seen it, maybe after hearing about it, maybe this is something that you want to go and see. But yeah, I mean, it's like I just find the whole scam con thing just like a weird concept. Like, you're always hearing and reading about real life scams and everything all the time. Like, there's one recently, like in Virginia, where people pretended to be like, party planners and, wanting to go have a tour of the wine cellar. And then while they were down there, they quickly swapped out some like insanely rare bottles, like thousands and tens of thousands of dollars of bottle of wine, and like made a run for it. And just like, imagine like, it to do a scam so elaborate, like you're tapping into the psyche of the person. So like in Virgil's case, they're probably tapping into the fact that he hasn't had a relationship before. He hasn't been with women. And like, that's how they're going to get that angle to con him. Kind of like probably how these people like, stole the wine. They were probably like, oh, we know really big, events and we know lots of famous people, you heard of Jeffrey Rush, like we'll get him to come down here and, come visit your place. So, yeah, I always just like I love a mystery. I love a thriller, and like I said, I just love when the bad guys get away.
Yeah, I like what you said about them like setting Virgil up. Like when you kind of step back, you're like, look at this man, this lonely orphan who fears women and attains all these artworks of women whose faces look at him every night. And
Yeah,
he falls in love with this lady who he can't see. So he's
yeah,
looking at all these faces around, falls in love with this lady he can't see. And then he sees her and then loves her even more, only to be betrayed
yeah,
by
yeah.
her.
Actually,
Like what a tragedy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Such a good take on it too, because it's just like, yeah, he doesn't. I guess he's sort of in his room picturing what she looks like through these pictures, and sort of sort of imagining, like what Claire looks like, obviously before he actually does get to see her. So, yeah, I like that take. That's pretty good too.
Brad, can you give us a rundown of the plot?
Yeah, sure thing. So I was going to say, the best offer does follow Virgil, as we talked about, Virgil Oldman, a brilliant but eccentric auctioneer whose life is built around control, gloves, and emotional distance until he's hired by a reclusive heiress, Claire, who refuses to be seen due to her severe agoraphobia. As Virgil becomes obsessed with her, he's guided for relationship advice by a charming young mechanic named Robert, who's helping him to restore a mysterious automaton found on Claire's property. Meanwhile, Virgil's spotless reputation hides a long-running art scam he has going on with his dear friend Billy. As Virgil and Claire grow closer, he lets his guard down for the first time, only to discover he's been the target of an elaborate con. Claire, Robert, Billy vanish with his priceless secret art collection, leaving behind only the restored automaton and a final message. Heartbroken and unable to go to the police, Virgil retreats to Prague, clinging to the hope, however delusional, that Claire might still return.
Perfect. Thank you. I don't think you mentioned Claire had agoraphobia, if I'm mentioning that correctly.
Yeah, agoraphobia, I think it's called.
Agoraphobia.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, hadn't heard of that before, but I made a list of my favorite cinema characters who have agoraphobia.
Oh, I could think of one. Oh,
Either
there you
by
go.
choice or because of circumstances.
Yeah.
I made my top five. So
Okay,
Kevin
great.
from Home Alone, I don't know if that counts, so I didn't put him in. And shout out to Lincoln Rhyme, the balloon collector, because I also don't think that
Oh my
counts
God.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Okay, so here's my list.
Okay.
Number 5, the Phantom from Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Number 4, Edward from Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, that's nice.
Number 3, Elizabeth Sparkle from The Substance.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen that one.
I haven't seen that.
Okay, it's quite good. It's a good movie. Number 2, Melvin from As Good as It Gets.
Oh my
Because
God,
he's got
great
the
movie.
OCD.
Great
And
movie.
then my last one, Dr. Helen Hudson from Copycat.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly who I was thinking about. As soon as you said that list, she's the first one that came on my mind. So
Cool.
yeah, great choice.
Awesome.
All right, let's run for the box office there. So it had a budget of 18 million, and the box office it got over just over 20.5 million dollars, which gives it a roughly 14.4% return on investment. Um, obviously,
Very
it is.
analytical there.
Oh no, well, you know me. I was going to say that it is obviously considered a success because it did make money. But do you think that maybe this movie should have been bigger?
Yeah, good question. So I was thinking that, and then you know, I then looked up what the top 10 box office was. I may not go through the whole 10, but like number one, Hunger Games; number two, Iron Man 3; three, Frozen; four, Despicable Me; five, Man of Steel; six, Gravity; seven, Monsters University. I would say they're probably more box office worthy.
Yeah.
Didn't crack the top 10, but like, sorry, the top 20, but the last one in the, or like number 18 in the top 20 is The Great Gatsby, which was a pretty successful
Wow. So
movie.
it's
So
pretty
some of
big.
these
Yeah.
movies are making like hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, I understand what you mean. I just think maybe it didn't have the marketing behind it or the distribution. Like I think it was probably shelved because these movies would have been seen as making, a bit more.
Yeah. I guess also technically it's classed as a foreign film. Even though it is in English, it is an Italian psychological thriller. Fun fact though, so it was written in English, translated into Italian, and then retranslated back into English. So that might explain sometimes there's a little bit off sometimes with the plot and the wording
Yeah,
and stuff
okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
I
I
understand
picked
that.
up on that, but yeah, it was a bit weird in points. But yeah, technically it is an Italian movie, but in English.
Okay, yeah. Once I learned as well as like a foreign film, I kind of some of the scenes or some of the kind of style or way it was made kind of fell more into place. So 2013. Let's talk about the actors, directors, and everyone else who's in the film. So we'll start with Jeffrey Rush. What's your
Yeah.
first memory of Jeffrey Rush?
My first memory of Jeffrey Rush is probably when he won the Academy Award for Shine, which is a great speech, by the way. Um, So yeah, and also obviously researching this movie too, I did find out that he did also win a Primetime Emmy Award and a Tony Award. So that makes him the only Australian to achieve the Triple Crown of acting. So quite an achievement. Um, what did you think about what did you think about him and his performance in this movie?
Yeah, well, like you, my first realization or memory of Jeffrey Rush is when he won the Oscar for Shine. I haven't seen The Shine, just to be honest with you, but I know it was a pretty big deal down in Oz. I think he's the second Australian actor to win the award. Um, and he's also been nominated before in The King's Speech, which is a really another good performance. I thought he was terrific in the movie. He portrayed Virgil and all his nuances really well. He's really captivating when he's on screen. Like I kind of
Got
can't take
presence,
my eyes
yeah,
off him. And as I said, I felt like he's in every scene basically, or
yeah,
pretty much. I felt like it was really a point POV of Virgil and this one character, and I thought Jeffrey was, yeah, as I said, sublime.
yeah.
But I
What
was
about
really impressed.
I was gonna say, Jim Sturgis. I don't know if you've seen it, but he came off of Cloud Atlas in 2012.
I had that. I said, do you know what movie he's in? He's in your favorite film.
I love that movie. So, he plays obviously six different roles in that Cloud Atlas. So the guy has a bit of range. But do you think, obviously looking back at his career as well, that maybe he should have, he probably wasn't as big as what he should have been?
Yeah, so Jim Sturgis, I remember him from 21. Have you
Okay,
seen that?
no.
Okay, Kevin Spacey. It's not bad. So he's like the main guy in that. Um, should he have had a better career? I didn't think he was. I thought he was probably the weakest out of all of them in the
Mm-hmm.
film. I thought maybe it could have been just his character, but like
Mm.
to me, he didn't really seem much of a ladies' man. But I could maybe understand it through Virgil's eyes that he was. But I
I'll
guess
come
I
to
was
that
just
later. Hold that thought. I'll come to that later.
okay. Yeah, I was just looking for a little bit more, but I noticed, I actually went on a little bit of a Jim Sturgis deep dive. So on his YouTube, he's got his own channel because he's a singer as well. And I was trying to find just some information on the movie on it, and so this came up, and it's basically his Q&A from the Cannes Film Festival. And it starts off the first minute is just of standing there getting photos taken, and then the next one is just he answers two questions about Jeffrey Rush and the director, and he basically is just like sucking them off, telling them how great they are and things like that. But yeah, I I wasn't too sure on him in the movie. I thought he was fine. I just thought he was the weakest out of all of them.
Yeah, no, I probably agree with that. Just moving on to Sylvia Hoeks. Um, obviously, this is probably earlier on in her career for her because I think her biggest movie is Blade Runner 2049, which I love, in 2017, and obviously the girl in the spider's web in 2018. I think that's probably her peak of powers there. But what did what did you make of her performance in this?
Yeah, look, I thought she was all right. I thought there was a nice sort of warm story behind her eyes, and um, I thought she was able to play the part quite well. I think it was good that they chose a foreign actor. I think if they had chosen an English actress, it would have been. Um, well, what I mean by that is I'm glad they chose someone whose English was their second language,
Yeah,
just because then the way that she could say sentences or things, she could kind of be a little bit more innocent.
yeah, yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, but I wasn't. She was fine. I thought she was good. Um, yeah, I enjoyed her performance.
Yeah,
Did love Donald though. What did you think of old big Donald
Don,
Sutherland?
the
Chris,
Don.
Chris
I
spanning 6 decades.
Yeah, I know. I've always liked Donald Sutherland, although I always find that his roles, to me, they don't appear to like he's like the main character or anything like that. He's always like a sort of a side character or like a supporting actor, I think, in everything that he's done that I've seen. Obviously, he has done, films and TV before where he is the main character, but all of the stuff that I've seen of him, he's more sort of, a supporting sort of character. But I did quite like him. I thought he did pretty well and he did what he had to do. So, it wasn't like blown me out of the park or anything like that, but it wasn't underwhelming. I thought it was, just classic Donald.
Okay, yeah, no, I thought it was a really great performance actually. I thought
Yeah,
he seemed like a bit of a weirdo, like someone that maybe, if you met on the street, you'd be like, oh, this guy's a little bit odd. But then like a really good friend to Virgil as well with some of the deep and meaningful chats he was having.
yeah,
Um, I did think like in that last scene, like he gave clues that, something was happening because he'd always bring up like, oh, you don't like my paintings and things like that.
yeah,
The last scene with him when like he didn't clap, but then he gave him a big hug, I felt like behind his eyes, he kind of widened them and he was a bit like, I don't know, like if you run into like your arch enemies, like from school, you're obviously not going to get in a fight or say anything to them. But
yeah,
how you just kind of stare them down, like, yeah, life's real good. Yeah, yeah. And like kind of he had that like so like a bit of like a F you like rage goodbye, but like to a friend. And I thought it was really subtle, but I really enjoyed it. I would have loved to have seen like a scene at the end where like Billy was like on a friggin' yacht or something, like just
we'll get
coasting
we'll
away.
get to that. I've got something on that later too, so we'll
So
get
I
to that as
did
well.
ask you a question. I think I asked, what are your top five Donald Sutherland films? If I didn't, that's okay. I'll put you on
No,
the spot.
you did. So something I prepared earlier. I was going to say, I think probably his best performance was probably in MASH. But I only had that too because I do love Dirty Dozen. I think that's like one of my favorite movies. So he's obviously in that. I thought he was pretty funny in that, especially when he pretended to be that general. Uh,
Very pretty, Colonel.
yeah,
But can they fight?
yeah, but can they fight? I had Dirty Dozen 1, MASH 2, I had Backdraft in 3 because, like you
I
saying there,
burned her.
yeah, like that creepy thing. I think he can do quite well. Yeah, I maybe sound like I shat on his performance before, but I actually quite liked him in the best of us. I had that at 4, and then couldn't really think of anything at 5. But so I just chucked in Horrible Bosses because
Ah, you're gonna kick yourself. All right,
why?
all right. So
What
I
about
had
this?
I had a shout out for Mash because I haven't seen Mash, but I know like that kind of I know Dirty Dozen kind of started his career
Yeah.
so to speak, and then
Yeah.
MASH really cemented it. So this is my top five. Don't want any complaints from anybody. Happy to hear yours, but this is mine. So number five, Italian Job. Not in it that much, but he's fine. Number four, Space Cowboys. Pretty good movie. Haven't seen it. I quite enjoy it. Number three, Backdraft.
Yeah.
Number two, Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Number one, we were standing there. Well, sorry. Number one, we're out there. We were standing out there with our dicks in the wind. JFK, baby.
I haven't seen
That's
JFK.
15 minutes. He's in it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that 15 minutes monologue
He just
slash
slays it.
dialogue between him and Costner, that is peak cinema slash like, that's what you want to watch when you see two people chatting to each other, even though it's dominated by him. Oh my God, that 15 minutes performance, French kiss, it is great.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to watch that after this
It
pod.
is. I watched it last night, and
Did
there's
you?
so
Oh,
many
no.
different quotes I was writing down. But I remember also we watched it at school, and his little speech or his 15-minute speech gives away like 10 different theories, and so you're just quickly answering all your little questions on your piece of paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought it was really good. So. Written and directed by a legendary Italian filmmaker Giuseppe Toronto. So he's won an Academy Award in 1990 for Best Foreign Language Film. This was his 10th feature film at the time. As I said earlier, I could feel like the European cinema whilst I was watching it. What are your thoughts on Giuseppe?
Yeah, obviously, as you mentioned, he won that Academy Award for Cinema Paradiso or Paradiso, pardon me. But yeah, I I thought his direction was quite good. Him along with Morricone, pardon me if I'm pronouncing that
You're a big
incorrectly,
fan.
with his score, I thought was excellent, and I really liked a lot of the transitions between scenes and during scenes as well. So yeah, I thought overall, I thought he did a good job, and deservedly so. Like he racked up quite an impressive haul across Italy and Europe. Um, for recognition for his work. But obviously didn't really hit the American sort of. He didn't really hit into that
Yeah.
at all.
No,
So
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think what was maybe missing from a more Western audience or like American audience was maybe a little bit more darker.
mm,
I agree with you. Like, and I think you made a good point before when you're saying I was like written English, transferred to Italian, written and then translated back into English. It might have like it was just a little bit simple, if that kind of makes sense. Like the story just
yeah,
chugs along, it finishes. As I said, the first time I watched it, I was suspenseful and stuff like that. I thought he did a good job, and I was pretty impressed that he wrote it and directed it. I just, I would have liked to seen it a little bit more darker, which we must touch on later. But music
yeah,
by Ennio Morricone. So the legendary Westerner. I couldn't believe the films that he had done. Did you know the films he's done?
yeah. I know. Well, I have known about some of his work. Obviously,
Just to
uh,
let the listeners know, do you want to run through it, or have you got it there in front of you?
yeah. Well, I mean, he's been at his craft since what his first Academy Award nomination was in 1979 for Days of Heaven. So he's been doing from the 70s, and he had been nominated uh, 5 times and then won an honorary Academy Award for a career achievement in 2007. But to top that, and I'm sure he would have loved it. He won the Academy Award for Best Original Score in a movie that I quite like, The Hateful Eight. So,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
And look, just to run through some of the movies: Good, the Bad, the Ugly, The Rover, Once Upon a Time in America, Once Upon a Time in the West, Hateful Eight, Kill Bills, both of them, Django Unchained, The Untouchables, this Disclosure. Like, what a legend!
no, that is a pretty impressive career. Like I said, I mean, he's been a master at this. From the 70s up until present day, I guess. But yeah, just what a haul, what a resume. And
Yeah,
those 2 Academy Awards sitting at home must look pretty good too.
exactly. It's amazing how like some of those composers they just do everything. Yeah, it's just unbelievable. Right, production. So any weird and funny things you found? I'll just start. So look, as you've been touching on, it was filmed in southern Italy in Prague. Like I just assumed we're in the UK. But I didn't really look like London, so I wasn't exactly sure where we were. But the reason why I thought that was mainly because all the extras were English, and the license plate. Even looking at it last night, watching it again, I swear they were English with that kind of blue thing, but they must be European license plate. Um, so yeah, as you said, it was filmed in northern Italy, Vienna, and Prague. It does look European and great locations. Um, any production stuff you want to go over?
No, just I found some like, like weird and wonderful things. Apparently Jeffrey Rush was really nervous about touching, the artworks. I think some of these artworks, like, they weren't fake, some of them were sort of real and had a bit of value to them. So um I found that. I found one which I don't know is real, but it's the weird and wonderful things that you do when you research. Is the automaton apparently kept breaking down a lot. Did you read anything about that?
I didn't, but I did go onto Reddit and I got into a bit of a deep dive about Claire being an automaton. But the theory
Oh,
didn't really work out for me. But the author was saying, when Claire gets upset when she's putting her makeup on,
yeah.
she looks around and she says something to him along the lines of, like, I haven't done this for centuries. But I think that was just an exaggeration. But this person's taking that literally and saying that she's a automaton built by Robert, but I wasn't too sure about that.
Well, I found another weird thing about Claire too is that some viewers interpret the film as a psychological narrative and believe that Claire is actually a ghost or a hallucination. Um, but I can't see how that's true. Like, because that would just ruin, you know, lots of parts of the movie that we'll probably get into later. But I thought that was weird. Um, I was going to say, can I ask you something? You know, when Claire goes missing and Virgil can't find her in the house,
Yeah.
do you think that maybe, that obviously being like a hoax actress that she's supposed to be, she just got cabin fever one day, like stuck in that room, and she's like, fuck it, I'm just going to go on a break, I'm going to grab some Maccas. And then all of a sudden Virgil shows up, like, and they didn't anticipate that. Um,
Yeah,
then they're
she
all
brat.
panicking. They're all
Yeah.
scammers are panicking, and they're like, "Quick, we've got to sneak it back into the house. How are we going to do this?" Everyone searched the entire house, and then Robert, who's obviously in on the
Oh, we
hoax,
haven't looked in
gives
the
Virgil,
basement.
yeah,
There's
it's
a
like, "Hey,
basement
man,
upstairs I haven't looked at. Oh,
it
good
didn't
one.
occur to me that if you checked every room, there's no other
Um,
secret rooms in the villa." Well, what do you reckon about her just pissing off, and then she got caught being out of the house at the time by
my
Virg?
thoughts are that she was working, and there were some high end oligarchs in the in town, and she'd gone off to visit the boys.
She went for an audition for another movie or something.
No, as in she's a prostitute.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Okay. Oscar and awards, Brad. Do you have anything? Did you find I didn't get nominated for anything that I saw.
No, it didn't. But I was going to say what I did find weird was that at the 86 Academy Awards, which is what this movie would have been nominated for, that the best music, there was a nomination that did get revoked. So they only had 4 nominations going in instead of 5. So if you were going to sneak in a nomination there, maybe you could have put, the score, I think, from this movie could have stuck that into the Academy Awards.
The only the only thing I saw where you could have snuck someone in was for a nomination. And I thought that Jeffrey Rush potentially could have got nominated. So best actors that year. So DDL wins for Lincoln. So best actors, the nominees are Daniel Day-Lewis, Bradley Cooper for Silver Linings Playbook, Hugh Jackman for Les Mis, Joaquin Phoenix for The Master, and Denzel for Flight. So the only person who I'd kick out, and I hate to do it because he's my love of my life, but would be Hugh Jackman. And I think I could slip Jeff in for there. But
Yeah.
apart from that, that would be it.
Okay.
Questions. All right, I've got a lot of questions. Who wants to start with the questions? I might start with the first question.
Okay.
So, what do you think Donald Sutherland's cut was in the auction art scam?
Okay. I was going to ask you this. I was going to ask you to break down some numbers. So what do you think is the total value of what they stole?
Oh, I would imagine some of those artworks are priceless
Yeah.
or pretty close to priceless.
Well, yeah, I would agree. So
So
I
I
reckon,
would say that he would be sitting at like, I don't know, priceless. So what, hundreds of millions of dollars of art?
yeah, yeah. I sort of had a little bit of a play around and sort of a bit of a wander. Like I actually deep dive this. So I was going to say, I reckon conservatively he had about 50 paintings, and I reckon the average value was like sort of 2 to 5 million each. Obviously, some would have been like only a mil or maybe less, but some would have been like 10 mil or like I think that one that Billy redeemed himself with. I think that's worth like 6.5 million or something like that. So anyway, I was going to say if you conservatively sort of estimate it at 150 to 250 million, let's just say 200 million USD. All right. So
But he's
yeah,
not getting a cut of that. He's getting a cut of whatever he pays for it, right?
of what of the total scam at the end when they steal all the paintings and then
Oh,
obviously sell.
I'm talking about what cut does Donald Sutherland get from Virgil?
Oh well, you sort of mentioned it. He says he doubles what he gives them.
Oh, okay. So if he pays like 30K for a painting, he'll give him
He'll get
60K.
60K. Yeah, but the painting's worth like
Okay.
6 million or
Okay.
something like
All
that.
right.
So
Sorry. So sorry, you go down your path.
okay, so I was gonna say, so
So
okay,
yeah,
if the
200
total
mil.
if the total scam's 200 million and they're all getting a cut of it, how much you reckon, like, the scam costs? Like, they had to hire the dealer, they had to hire the con artist, like, get their cut, hire the people to bring in the works, take
Nah,
the
that
works out.
would have only, yeah, okay, I understand what you're saying. So I guess this then rolls into my next question. How long was the scam going? So it would have been over a number of months, but like getting Bob and stuff, that would have kind of surely been over like a year or so. Like it would have been like Robert would have been planning this for like a year or two.
Yeah, yeah. I think the real Claire at the end, the little person that sits
Yeah,
by the window, I think she
we can
said
say
she,
little people on this pod.
yeah, okay, we can say little people. I was gonna say that I think she says that she'd rented it out to Robert, the mechanic, for like 18 months or 2 years or something like that. So
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah, actually,
obviously
I wrote
planned
that
it.
down as
They
well.
they'd obviously planned it
Yeah, 2 years. It was 2 years
two
renting.
years in the making.
Yeah, so but then also so Billy and Robert had to know about Virgil's thesis as well on the mechanical guy. You know, the mechanical whoever made the auto whatever you call it.
Automatron, yeah,
Yeah. Remember how he said like I did my thesis on this at school.
yeah,
So they somehow would have had to have known that. So he would have had to have told like Billy that over some drinks or something one time.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll get into that later.
Who was leaving the clogs around? Was it
I think it
Claire?
would have been Claire. Yeah,
Okay.
Claire. Because I think she would have had that whole setup in a room, like, when they got like the armor or the skin or whatever for the automaton that he finds towards the end of the movie. So Robert would have put it together, broken it down, and then Claire would have gone around the house putting it in like random places because he wouldn't have found it. Like, if they were all scattered around the house in the same time, he would have found them all in one day. But he's found one or two here and one there and one there. So I reckon she was placing it around the house sort of willy nilly. Like, and every time he'd come back and visit, he potentially found another piece.
Okay. I've got about 6 more questions, but please ask me some.
No, okay. I was going to ask you, was the payoff good for you? Like, the actual, when Virgil goes back into the room with Billy's painting and then turns the lights on and then realizes everything's been stolen, like, was that payoff good? Was that worth the 2L or whatever it is investment in the movie?
Okay, good question. So when he walked into the room was when I was like, oh fuck, nothing's there anymore. Was the payoff good? Yeah, I like that they scammed him out of it. I guess I got a couple more questions and I've got maybe some airing of grievances later to talk
Yeah,
about that. But overall, I knew something was going to happen, especially when she says, like, no matter what happens, I will always love you or whatever she says.
yeah,
But I wasn't 100% sure what was going to happen. I thought like Robert was going to like do everything and I thought I didn't see her being a
being in the
scammer
middle of it.
too.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And I sort of, as soon as Billy said I left something for you at the house, I was like, okay. So that's where I thought maybe Billy and Robert had
Yeah,
stolen Claire and like But I also in the
Like a
back of my head
ransom
knew
note
that
or
the
something?
movie was wrapping up in like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not sure what's about to happen here, but like it's got to sort of happen very quickly. So when he finds her in the attic or wherever afterwards, so
Hmm.
did she say her boyfriend got hit by a car and then she developed the phobia? And do we think that like her boyfriend did get hit by a car, or do you think that boyfriend existed?
No, I reckon that's probably the story that they would have sat down and had the background story for the character that she was playing.
Okay.
So I don't know if there, because obviously she leaves the house and everything later on, and obviously probably the country.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say
320 times.
yeah, she obviously left the house quite a lot. Uh, yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, obviously, you know, going back to like, what I asked you earlier, like, did Virgil deserve this? Like, although it seems like he loved Claire, and Robert asked him which one he would choose between the automaton and Claire. Like the next scene, you see him buying the ring for Claire, but I still think he was willing to fuck her over for the automaton. That was his main goal, to get the automaton. Like, and I feel less bad for him. Like, I felt really bad for Virgil the first time, but I feel less bad for him now because of what he has been doing to other people and what he was going to do to Claire.
Well, why do you think he was screwing her over with the automaton if she's leaving all the pieces around? I thought he was still screwing her over with like the, which she calls him out on about like the pricing of the her furniture and arts and stuff like that.
So
Like
you
how
think
is
he
he
was either,
screwing her
you
over
think,
with the automaton?
well, because he was just going to steal it and then build it
But
with
she's
Robert.
yeah, but someone's leaving all these clogs around for him.
Yeah, yeah, obviously,
Ah,
because
okay.
it's
Yeah,
like a scam.
I get. Oh, because he wasn't going to tell her about it. Yeah,
No,
okay.
he was just going to take the pieces and build it and then sell this $1 trillion automatron or whatever and not
Yeah,
give it
yeah,
over.
yeah. Like, I don't feel that bad for him. Like, I don't think he's broke at the end of the movie. Like, he seems like he's in a pretty high paying job and everything else like that. And he owns the auction uh company or whatever. So yeah, I don't feel like terribly bad for him. But yeah, I kind of dive into that a little bit more later.
Yeah, I'll
So
dive into it.
how hard do you think he tried to find her? Like, do you think he tried to email her or like try and call her and like tell her, hey, I'm going to be at the cafe just in case you're around? Like, he would have
There is a
had
scene.
like a lot of her contact details unless they were all fake.
I think there was like a scene where he does call her but obviously she's not answering the phone. And then he does, from what I take away, is that he does move to Prague or at least stay there for a while, going back and back and back to that same sort of restaurant or cafe to hopefully run into her. So I think even though there is a scam and clearly she's bolted to, you know, Cuba or something like that, where you're never going to find her again. I still think that he sort of holds out hope that he can still run into her. And I guess the only place that he thinks that she might be, um, is in Prague. And I guess going back to your point earlier too, if you think, Robert was sort of the mastermind and potentially stole Claire, or kidnap Claire, maybe he might think that, hey, if she gets away, that's where she might end up. So I don't know if that's sort of a bit misguided or if that's probably what he's thinking.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Um, does Robert's girlfriend know of the scam, especially at the last dinner? Like, she seems pretty happy and excited. Like, she seems to have changed her tune from like, oh, he's talking to other women and he's being distant or whatever. And then at the last dinner, she's very all smiles and laughter.
You know what? That's a really good question. And I think that he probably would have been cool enough because he is sort of a bit of a ladies' man that he could be running this con whilst dating someone on the side. And she doesn't have to be in on the scam. And he could probably even like manipulate her to go to Virgil to say that he's talking about some girl named Claire. So, I mean, she could be in on it, but I probably would say that he's just such a ladies' man that he doesn't need to hire her to do that. What do you think?
I feel like she knew, but then it kind of stuffs up my next question because my next question was, who's Claire's boyfriend, Robert or Billy, or she's just an actress?
Uh, I I was gonna say, I don't know if I can get into it now. I might as well go there now. I was gonna say, do you? I do you think the three of them know each other? Like, are they? Is like Donald Rob's dad? I mean, sorry, is Billy Rob's dad, or is Billy's, Claire's dad or uncle or something like that? Do they know each other? Or
That's a
to
good
your
one. I
point,
didn't think about Billy and Robert being family members. I will. You have
is
to
Robert
assume that Billy
Claire's
and
girlfriend?
you have to assume Billy and Robert know each other, and then Claire. Yeah, they'd all know each other
They all
because
know each
Claire's
other.
obviously let them in to the
Yeah,
house or
yeah,
let
yeah, yeah,
Robert in.
yeah,
So Billy would have said, "Yeah, he's away. He's coming up to do the auction," or they all knew that. Let's rob
yeah,
him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they all know each other. How well? I don't know, but
yeah,
they all know each other.
yeah, yeah,
Um, you know how the little Claire says like normally book the house for actors and cinemas and thing like that.
yeah, yeah.
Theatrical movies or adult movies?
No, I think like theatrical movies, like on location sort of movies. Yeah, I don't think, I don't think they're
Well,
doing
maybe
porn
that's Claire
shoots.
knows the house pretty well. She's like,
That's
yeah, there's a couple of
yeah.
glory holes in the house. All right. Um, did you see what number the villa was?
No, I didn't.
21. KG Tim Duncan, baby. Let's
Oh,
go.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Do you have
missed that.
any other questions?
No, but I will have questions later on once we get into our
Yes,
other
sweet.
categories. So
What's
yeah.
your favorite scene or what scene do you love revisiting on YouTube?
I had 1A and I had 1B, but 1A I think oh no, sorry. Let me start again. What scene do I revisit the most on YouTube? I try to investigate this automaton thing. Like every time I see the movie, like so there's pieces of it on display in other legitimate artwork. So it's a real thing in I don't know, in the world or in the best offer world.
Yeah.
Um and but like I don't understand. Like if Virgil's meant to be so good at, you know, evaluating art and knowing what's real and what's forgeries and stuff like that, how does he not know that these are fake automaton pieces?
Yeah,
Or is it Robert going, oh, it looks like 16th century, so he sort
yeah,
of
I think
buys
it's
into
Robert
it?
saying I peeled it all back, look at everything. Like they might have been able to make it look like I don't know how they would have because it's
Yeah,
forgery, but
yeah,
yeah, good question. I didn't really think about that. Maybe it is. Well, yeah, I guess it's not a priceless artwork because he was talking up how much it was worth.
yeah.
Um, I don't mind. But is that what?
So like there's like a scene like where he's like evaluating another piece of art and then he's got his little
Yeah, I like
um
that. That was like my
and
favorite
he's
painting.
going down into like the little
Yeah.
corners, like cogs and things like that, and it just got me thinking, like, what other parts of the movie like relate to the automaton? Like, how does he, like you said, he did his thesis and everything on it.
Well,
Like,
is the armor in her bedroom? Is that part of it as well?
yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah, because
armor
they
is
put
like
that on.
at the end is like the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
automaton skin, yeah, or armor or whatever
Okay.
it is. Yeah.
Any other scenes you enjoy?
Well, I have got a favorite scene, but I'll save that.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess the other thing too, like maybe I sort of took this as like an investigative sort of piece, but again, that theory, which I think is probably really dumb, that Claire's a ghost, but then everyone can see her, and like I know it's like a huge conspiracy online that she's a ghost, but she's not. She's not a ghost. People can
Yeah,
tell.
but Bobby's probably just thinking like, "This is great. This guy's going insane,"
Yeah,
as he's
it's
standing
like,
there watching him eat his own meal.
but it's
It's
like
like,
the ghost, like let you into the into the secret painting room, like and typed on the keyboard and let you in or whatever. I mean, yeah, just I don't know. What about you?
so my
What scenes do
favorite
you revisit?
scene is the first auction scene. I just think he's a conductor, and I just love the way he kind of controls the auction. Throws like a little gesundheit or whatever when the guy sneezes. Like it's just and the whole crowd's kind of laughing. I love it. I also love the which I think is like my favorite shot, the opening the sliding doors to revealing the gloves with
Yeah,
like the reflection and the lighting above it. Then before he opens it up to then go through the security door into his gallery.
yeah,
Just the way the camera works across like the wall, once like the hanging portraits is beautiful. But
yeah.
that first just shot of the sliding door opening, it's like, it's just great. Like I just think it's wonderful.
Hmm.
I think then there's the scene where like him and Donald talk about the forgeries and things like that. That's great. It's probably like more of a artsy class scene. Um, and then when she cuts her toes for
Well,
obvious reasons. when she
Yeah,
crosses
well,
her legs after cutting her toes, if you
yeah,
know what I'm
well, I was
saying.
going to say, well, we'll get into the Hans Gruber, the slowly falling off a building face moment that stole the movie, either intentionally or unintentionally. So I had the toe sucking scene as 1B, like the scene. You're watching the movie, and the first time you see that scene, you're like, "Wait, what? Like, is that really happening? Like in the
I didn't
movie?"
notice it the first time. It was only the second time I was like, oh,
Did
what?
you rewind? Did you
Yeah, I
rewind?
was like, oh, no undies? I was like,
Yeah,
no
I know.
undies?
I know. And then it got me thinking, like, did she know that he was hiding there and then she pretended to do that? So she did that part to get Virgil more interested in his sex and in her. Like, yeah, it was a good scene. But um, my favorite scene, I still think, is the final scene, or one of the final scenes, when Virgil's in the coffee shop after he had been scammed and he's talking to the real Claire, and she's rocking off those stats about the people that have been in and there. Virgil's been in there, Claire, the removalists. And then she's talking about, like you said before, like, that she rents out the villa to cinema people. And then, like, the music in the background is just building. And then it transitions into Virgil and that spinny ring thing. I think it's called an aero trim, apparently. And he's just going nuts. And you can tell that he's in this aero trim, like trying to work out if it really was a scam or if Claire still loves him. And, you can sort of see that in his face. And like, I love that part, and that just the feeling I got from that, and that transition straight to Virgil thinking. But did you ever, that was my award for the Hans Gruber. I've got that last part in the coffee shop with the real Claire. But what was yours?
Yeah, I don't know if I quite got the Hans Gruber, but so just to let everyone know, it's the slowly falling off a building face from Die Hard. So just like a stolen moment of the movie. So I
Yeah.
I think mine potentially is unintentionally. It's
Yeah.
when he turns up to the house and she's disappeared, and he's like, Claire, Claire, and then he goes into the courtyard and he's like, Claire, and he's just like I was just laughing. I was like, yes, this is the best, Claire.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really good too. I quite enjoyed that.
Best
Um,
quote.
Best quote. Again, I don't want to seem like I'm, sitting on the fence, but I've got a couple. But if I had to choose one, it is there's something authentic in every forgery.
Oh, I had that written down. Yeah, there's always something authentic concealed in every forgery.
Yeah.
My one, which I sent to you earlier in the week, is after where I think he has sex with Claire, is when he tells Robin, he's like, "Well, welcome to the grown-up club."
I had but other that was a good point. The other quote that I really did like was when he's talking to Billy, and you mentioned too that Billy's always going, "Hey man, like you should have one of my paintings." And this is like early on in the movie, and he just shuts him down hard by going, "Look, the love of art and knowing how to hold a brush doesn't make a man an artist. You need an inner mystery." So I don't know if
Ah,
Billy
it's a good one.
I don't know if Billy sort of took offense at it and said, "You know what? I can't wait to fuck you over later on and do all your artwork." So yeah.
Best song or score. So I had the music when she runs out after he's beaten up.
Okay.
I really thought someone was going to get run over. I was like, oh shit, a car's coming around the corner. I don't know why, but every scene I was like, someone's about to die. The first time I watched it.
Yeah, that was good. I had I'm such a sucker for the fancy dining music. So when Virgil first goes to his usual restaurant and they've got that upbeat music just playing so perfectly, and it fades out just as he gets his birthday cake. I don't know. I really like that. Um, like on that, would you just sit there and let that candle burn out? Like, wouldn't you say something even if
No, he
you were
said he's
superstitious?
superstitious. Of
But
course,
when you
do it.
say so, you just sort of sit there for 5 minutes waiting for this candle to burn out.
Well, I guess if I wore gloves everywhere and like was was a little bit like Virgil, I probably would.
I guess he's got no friends or girlfriends or anything like that, so he's got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
But I did want to ask you too, what about the dining ware at the restaurant with like the VO insignia on it, like the Virgil Alwyn insignia? Like, did he buy that for them or did they buy it for him? Like, he must be pumping some serious cash through this place to have his own dining set.
I didn't
Um,
even notice that.
Yeah,
So there
I
you
mean,
go. I didn't.
um,
I'm gonna have to go back and have a look at that tonight.
but then also like, yeah, so he's got his own private collection of,
What, his cutlery or the plates
yeah,
as
no,
well?
everything, the plates, the cutlery, the glasses, the
Oh,
all got
I
VO
yeah,
written
did
on.
not. That just wasn't even focused. Jeez, I can't believe I missed that.
Okay, well, only because I've probably seen the movie a lot more. But I was gonna say as well, like, also, do you reckon like when these cleaners are getting the dishes at the end, like, do you reckon they just chuck him in the dishwasher with everybody else's stuff, or they have to do their own separate wash? Because if they're just chucking it in with everybody else, like, what's the point, right?
Yeah, well, he probably goes there every night. But as I said, I think he's making some bank. Like he's got a secretary. He's in his apartment. Like it's pretty great.
Yeah.
So pre 2000. So this is, even though this movie was made in 2013, this is everything that we think is pre two. So something that was brought out or whatever before the 2000s. Did you have anything for this? Because I got a couple.
No, I missed this because, yeah, obviously it's
Okay.
2013,
My
but
first one, I don't know if it's quite right, but answering the phone with clubs in 2013, yes or no? I don't know if you could do that then, but
well, I mean, if it's your own private phone and you're the only one using it, surely you can touch your own private phone.
I just remember being on the Japanese ski fields, having cotton gloves underneath my ski gloves and like trying to swipe my phone. Impossible. Okay.
Impossible.
So the other one, Robert gives a woman a CD in the mechanic shop.
Yeah,
I thought CDs, if you think now, just obsolete.
yeah.
And then my favorite one, the cops lighting up outside the police station. He's standing outside. Have you seen it? Go back and watch tonight. There's two cops lighting a durry. It's so great.
No, I have to go back and see that. That's good.
Okay, so the Benjamin Button. So this is what's aged the best.
Yeah.
What's aged the best for you?
I wrote money. I think like being that rich means you can pretty much do what you want. Like him, I mean, he's building this massive secret room in his wardrobe that's like 5 stories high or something. I mean, you call a contractor and throw money at him, like, is he going to question it? Like, and then like, I mean, can't ask though too. Like, you know, maybe I did my schooling and everything wrong. Like, how much money do auctioneers make? Like, he
Yeah,
he
he
he is
must
like,
own the auction house, like surely. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, I was trying to work that out as well, but I don't know. That's a good one. Money. My one was just his gallery. I just love being in that room. I could just be in that room all day.
yeah.
It's great.
Can I ask as well, just on that gallery, is he hanging those paintings? Like, do you think that Virgil is being handy on a
Yeah, he's
ladder,
not letting anyone else in that
nailing?
room.
What about light bulbs and stuff? Is he replacing them? Or is he calling an electrician and he's like, oh, hey, don't mind the secret vault filled with millions of dollars of stolen
Yeah,
art,
yeah, yeah.
but can you go change his light bulb for
It's
me,
probably
mate?
like, this is all worth nothing. This is just what I just paint on the weekends. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he gets like a blind electrician or something like that.
Hey, mate, can I blindfold you, get you to go up on this ladder 5 stories high to change his light bulb?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What's aged the worst?
You start, I'll go after.
Something which is not part of the movie, but just Jim Sturgis during his Cannes Film Festival was speaking about how Jeffrey Rush is a bit of ladies' man, and then some stuff that happened in the late 2010s, which were all allegations. I'd just like to add, and he was acquitted, but it just, I was like, that doesn't sound too great.
Yeah, I actually feel bad for Rush because I think his career was, even though he was acquitted and, obviously there was no truth or anything or legs in that, like his
Yeah, I
career
think
was
his
sort of
career
never the same after that.
definitely got hurt by that too.
Yeah.
The only other things I thought didn't age well were the age difference with Claire and Virgil. However, he's not as old as I thought he was. He was only in his 60s at the time. And then the worst thing, which hasn't aged well for me, was sneaking another man in to spy on your date.
Yeah, that would be totally weird. I had what aged the worst is background checks. I mean, this movie is set in 2013. Like, surely you can do a quick Google search or call some people, like, in these
Good
rich
one.
circles and go, hey, man, do you know this Ibbotson girl? Like, is that story real? Like, she's looking to offload this stuff.
Yeah,
It's like your favorite doco on that ESPN, Big Shot for 30 for 30
yeah,
about
yeah.
John Spano. And, he's a fake billionaire. He bought the New York Islanders. I mean, how come no one's checking up on these people? Like, surely Like, hey man, Claire Ibbotson like looking to sell her stuff. Like, he just wanted to give you the heads up because there might be some stuff that you might be interested in. Like, who's that? Like, surely someone would know. Like, these people know people in circles.
Yeah, no, great one. That's awesome. I didn't even think of that. So Frederick Zola, do you want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so the Frederick Zola, so that's the best performance on or off screen from one of the biggest movie buffs within a movie. Something that Frederick Zola would really appreciate it. So, have you got an answer to
No, you
this?
go. You go first.
Well, I was gonna say, I think it was Rush. Like, I thought he was amazing in this movie. I know we're gonna go into goat casting soon, but um, I don't know if anyone else could have done this movie better. Maybe it's pretty hard, but like you said, like his face, like the camera's in his face for this whole movie. Um, and although like there were a couple of sort of mixed reviews, I think a lot of them were in praise of Jeffrey Rush's performance. So, yeah, who did you have?
Yeah, I had Jeffrey Rush as well. So don't
You
need
did.
to go too far into that. So yeah,
Oh,
go cast.
oh, before you go there, I just want to ask you one quick question. Who have you got as the Mount Rushmore of male Aussie actors? I
Question.
can throw some names at you because I'm putting you on the spot. But
No, I think number one, just because I just have a boy crush, I would say, oh gosh, this could be recency bias.
yeah.
Probably Hugh, Nicole. So Hugh Jackman, Nicole
Oh,
Kidman.
I was gonna say just male Aussie actors.
Okay. Hugh Jackman.
To me, give you some names to help.
Probably Jeffrey Rush, Hemsworth, Brian Brown. Oh no, Hugh Jackman, Heath Ledger, Rush, Hemsworth, Brian Brown. Oh, actually, no, Joel Edgerton over Brian Brown.
Oh, I'm gonna throw some other names at you, and you're gonna be like, I didn't think of them. I love Hugh Jackman too. I had him as one. Russell Crowe,
Oh yeah, damn. Yeah, he's
Mel
he's he's in the
Gibson,
top five. Yeah, he's in the top five too, probably.
and then I had Jeffrey Rush at 4. But obviously, you mentioned Heath. You got Eric Bana, Sam Neill, Chris Hemsworth, Joel Edgerton, Guy Pearce. I love Eric Bana, but I would have Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Mel Gibson, Jeffrey Rush,
Have you
and then
seen
obviously
Train Dreams on Netflix?
no, I haven't. I
See
haven't
it.
seen that.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Because Leanne will like it. All right, goat cast. So if we were recasting this ourselves, who would the goat? Now, I did this by sort of thinking about the year 2013. So I didn't do it by like, oh, Charlie Chaplin or something like that. Could have done a little bit differently. Now, I will just admit, I feel like this cast needed some diversity. It was very white. I don't think there was any person that wasn't white in the movie. It is a European movie. I don't know if that's an excuse. But my cast is probably not as diverse as I think the movie should have been. Virgil, I probably wouldn't recast Virgil, but if I had, maybe Gary Oldman, someone a little bit younger, or Brian Cox, just because I'd like to hear like, get the fuck out behind the wall and sign these papers. For Robert, I had Zac Efron. I think at 2013, he may have been a little bit too famous, but he could do like the sweet spot, or James Marsden. But I think maybe James Marsden was too famous. Here's the curveball for you. So Claire, Beyonce.
Ah, okay.
I just think I think Beyonce has the most perfect eyes in the world. So if you're just seeing the eyes for the first couple of shots, just great. And like be able to capture your attention. And then I wouldn't say she's the best actor. Really, one of the only movies I can remember her from is Goldmember.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's what I went
I
to.
think she was fine in that. So I really think she'd have like be able to do the vulnerability, awkwardness, and like portray some of that. So I think she'd do a fine job. Um, Billy, I wasn't too sure of as well. Like maybe Anthony Hopkins, but again, Donald Sutherland's fine. Anthony Hopkins probably too famous for this movie.
Well, so funny you say that. So I was gonna say the go casting line, I need like any actor or actress at like any point, like you
Yeah,
know what I mean. So I did. Like you too. I think that Rush is probably the best pick for Virgil. But if I had to choose somebody else, I actually went Anthony Hopkins. So I think he's done those the sophistication like elocution sort of roles like in Meet Joe Black, Fracture, even Hannibal without the murder. Plus he's British as well, so we get that sort of European angle. For Claire, I had Scarlett Johansson. So Yoho, obviously did Lost in Translation, so she could fall for an older guy.
yeah.
So I had that. But for Robert, this one I think is probably my best one. I had George Clooney. So I had someone maybe more closer
Young
to
George
his
Clooney.
age. No, closer to his age, sort of like in his 50s, maybe like a 50s George Clooney, who would be able to pick up younger women. But then when they have their social circle, like, Virgil's like 60 hanging out with three other 20-year-olds, like, it's much better probably if he's got George Clooney there, who's like a bit older, a bit more, you know, bit more like, same age, got things in common potentially. So I went with George Clooney for Robert. And then for Billy, this is actually tough for me too, but I went with Kevin Spacey. So he's sort of like a bit
Yeah, that'd
devious.
be good actually. I could see him
It's a
being
bit
artsy.
devious.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're doing sort of more modern era, maybe you could have done like a Hugh Grant, or if you really want to like European, you could have gone like Christoph Waltz or something like that. So,
Yeah, good one.
but
Okay, I like that.
I said on Kevin Spacey.
Okay, cool. So this next one is basically a category for myself, but I had for you to have some answers as well. So I am a massive Bruce Campbell fan who is in all
What
the
really?
Evil Dead movies, if people don't know this. So what character, and I also I defend him as an actor, and I don't know why he didn't have a better career, but what character could Bruce Campbell have played? So my character was Fred the Caretaker. He'd be able to make it a bit
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. That
He'd
is
be able to
so
make it a
good.
bit mysterious, but also like just spit truth bombs. So like I've already written a scene. So when Virgil's running around the mansion looking for Claire, he runs out, sees Fred in the vegetable garden. Have you seen Claire? Bruce looks up from his cabbage plat. Man, I ain't see Jack and shit. And Jack just left town.
Oh my god, that is so good. That's perfect. I don't even want to tell you my one now. Oh my god. That's perfect. See, I should have gone first. Um, I, I am actually a fan of Bruce Campbell too. I think he is pretty cool. Um, I had him as Virgil, because I was watching Evil Dead the other night. Or Dark. Was it
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness? That's one. Sorry. And just before he falls in the demon pit, he gets hit in the head by a rock by that girl, and he's spinning around, the camera's spinning around, and then so I think like when he walks in and sees his painting stolen, it's like spinning around. He's like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I had him for.
He's great.
Yeah,
Okay. Porn title?
Blindside. Do you want me to go first, or you?
Yeah.
You go
So
first.
what if you were a porn director, what would you be naming this film?
Did you go? Because I did like a bit of a Bruce Campbell kind of spiel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My one's not great, but I just had the best cock. So, and I've got a little like synopsis. So, a story of
Okay,
a
go.
lady with agoraphobia. She's been living inside a mansion for decades. Only the best cock can exhilarate her back to normality. And then, like, I imagine like fun issues. You could imagine if you're locked in a house, there'd be a couple of trapdoors and things like that.
Category is the best, I swear to God. Um, the title for the movie I had is The Painted Face. So, Virgil the Virgin, played by Ron Jeremy, spends 60 years finding his picture perfect woman when he meets Claire, trading in paintings of beautiful girls to painting a beautiful girl in the face. Uh, Quote from Verge: I went from making my nut to busting my nut to end up going completely nuts.
Good one.
I have to ask though, the sex scene in this movie, is this the best ever sex scene that you've seen in a movie? Or the most porno? Because he is really going for it. I know actors and actresses are supposed to, they're asked to do sex scenes and stuff like that. But can you imagine the look on Mrs. Rush's face watching this movie with Jeff? Um, because he is fully
The
sucking on her tit and nipple. Like, that is
Yeah,
like,
yeah. This is the flashback, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
see the
yeah.
flashback of the sex scene.
It's like, can you imagine him going,
Yeah,
"Oh, how was worked
I
out? Oh,
think it's
great. I
pretty
just
good. Yeah, he
sucked
was
on some Danish model's tit all day. That was yours.
Jeff was having fun. Jeff Jeff
100%.
was Jeff was enjoying himself that day.
Can you think of a better sex scene though? Like a more porno-like sex scene in a movie?
There's Monsters Ball. Have you
Monsters
seen
Ball's got
that?
a porno scene or a
Yeah,
sex scene?
yeah. Billy Bob and Halle Berry.
Oh god, I haven't
There's like
seen it. I was
rumors that it
thinking,
was like actually them having sex.
really, I need to watch it. I thought when you said Monsters Ball, I thought I was thinking that bloody CGI animated.
Monsters University, Monsters Inc.
Yeah, Monsters Inc.
Okay. Um, best prop or outfits. What are you keeping, or what are you putting, as we would say in Australia, straight to the pool room?
I was tossing up between the Yansky portrait or Virgil's gloves. But I guess if you're having friends over for dinner, a nice piece of art is always the better showpiece. Because if I had Virgil's gloves and you come over, I'm like, hey man, I got Virgil's gloves from the movie. Hey, OJ Simpson, you want to try on his gloves?
Yeah,
Like, that doesn't work. Like, I think the art's probably the best thing.
yeah,
Would
cool.
you?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed this, but can I have his glove sliding wardrobe? I need
Okay.
that in my life. I just want the sliding wardrobe in my life. If I
But
can't
with
have
the
that,
hidden door, like the hidden chamber
no,
at
I
the
don't
back?
even need the hidden door. I just want to open it up and like have all my shirts and pants and just all my clothes and socks and undies just all ironed out, like and just looking beautiful.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I want Galileo's telescope in the first
Oh,
scene.
yeah, that was good too. I like that.
What happens after the credits? Where do you think the characters end up?
All right, you go. You start.
Okay, so I have Donald Sutherland go straight to the Italian job to pull off another heist. And I have Virgil, in true Quentin Tarantino style, goes on a revenge thriller, taking retribution for all those who have done him wrong.
Oh my God, I had this in my final thoughts as well. I was going to say, yeah, do you think you would like to see a sequel to this movie where Virgil, I mean, he's got the money, he goes on a mission like Liam Neeson style, tracking down these people that robbed him and like
Oh yeah, we had the
burying
same.
them and burying them. Like, I, I'd love to see that actually. So I reckon that would be pretty funny.
Otherwise, my other part was Virgil meets Dr. Helen Hudson from Copycat at the Clock Cafe in Prague. They bond over lost love and their transformation and hardship. They'd have deep conversations about art and obsession because I'm sure she'd be artsy.
I love it that you snuck her back in. That's
I've
fantastic.
got a theory for you.
Yeah.
So, is this more tragic if what happens at the end, he ends up in the psych ward after the cafe? Because
Well,
all the other flashbacks are all happening at that time. Why isn't the last scene a flashback?
that's a really good point, and I had that too because it's like what happens after the credits stop. I'm like, was Virgil going back and back to the coffee shop, or is he stuck in that spinning machine and he's in like a mental asylum and he just thinks he's going to the coffee shop, but it's all in his head?
Yeah, because I could imagine Fred calling his EA saying he's been sitting in a cafe and he won't leave and refuses to be touched. Come get him. And then Virgil getting dragged out of the
He's
cafe.
demanding his own cutlery and
Yeah,
plates.
yeah. And Virgil getting dragged out of the cafe. Claire! Claire!
Get your hands off me!
Yeah. All right, the Don Toretto. When the world comes at you fast and furious, listen to your mate. So, Don Toretto, what's the best life lesson of the movie?
So my best life lesson from this movie is if you are old and rich, a younger lover really only wants one thing, your money. Yeah.
My, my, my one was don't show your new partner your stolen priceless artwork on the first night. It's okay not to play all your cards at once.
If you had a stolen art room, would you let Jen see that?
Well, yeah, but not like the
Would you let
first
Nick
day.
know that you had it?
Probably not the first day you move in or the first day you come over for lunch. Like, I might
Yeah.
let you know eventually, but yeah, like, still have some suspicions. All right, airing of grievances. So this is where we kind of air what we kind of think could have been done better or some issues that we have with the movie. So we kind of discussed it, but like, how big time is Virgil? Like, would he really kind of keep going back and forward to the place if she kept, the first couple of times she stood him up?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't he send somebody else? Or do you
Yeah.
think he's just thinking I can make so much money out of this lady?
I don't know. Maybe it's like an adventure for him and like something different. Maybe because it was just his birthday, he was probably thinking, I need to do something different with my life. But no, you are right. I don't see Virgil, even if he takes that call, I don't see him going over for the initial appraisal.
My biggest one, which you sort of mentioned, that was Jeffrey Rush's gripe, was touching the artwork with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Like our dad would have had a heart attack like 5 times if we'd ever done that. But like, could you imagine Dad being there? He's like, "Are you right, champ? Like, do not touch the artwork."
Yeah, I know. Dad used to know when we as kids, if we touched the fingerprints on his car, like he would know. Like, there's no way you're allowed to touch that.
Wow, what did you have?
I had we already touched on the automatron, so I won't go into that one again. But I had when Virgil's doing the scam with Billy and he's going, because this one goes to the best offer. Like, surely someone would have picked up that whenever he says that, old mate Billy seems to win the auction. And Billy, who seems to be in these social circles, as if he's not having people over to his house, and they say, "Hey man, where's that fresh Yansky, that Yansky painting you just bought at auction last week?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, don't have it here yet," because he's already sold it to Virgil. Like,
He's like, "I burnt it."
yeah, but it's just like as if anyone's not going, "Hey," every time he says the best offer, like
Yeah,
Billy's
yeah.
winning the auction.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why don't you think he says going once, going twice? Like he's the worst auctioneer I've ever bloody seen.
What, he doesn't say going 3 times all
Doesn't
done.
ever say it ever throughout the movie. Is that it?
Yeah,
Is that it? Sold.
yeah, that is weird. That is weird. But I do like when you were talking about before, like, how he's like a good auctioneer, like he did the Gesundheit joke and stuff, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going
yeah.
like left and right with his head. He's like, "Oh, this is really not good for my neck." Like, I thought those little bits, like, they are very funny and they are very auctiony. Like, if you ever go to an auction, like the auctioneer sort of does something like that just to alleviate a bit of tension, to make a bit of a joke. So yeah, I thought that was really cool.
So they beat him up and rob him, but they don't take his phone.
Surely that's suspect, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any more? Because I've got one more sort of like flags for Virgil.
I've got Robert's girlfriend. It's like, what's the go there? Like, he had the motorcycle chick, and then he had the blonde one in the restaurant that he's having dinner with, and then he had the one that he gave the dog tracker to. Like, do they all need to be there?
Oh,
Like,
is that a new girlfriend? No, isn't it the same girlfriend that he's having dinner with
no,
at
there's
the
another
end?
one. There's another one. So there's three. There's three. Like, there's the motorcycle chick.
The chick that
The
he sees that comes
Yeah,
visits
he's at
him.
the end. Yeah, he's at the end with him. Then he's got the blonde chick who he's having dinner with in the movie. Dinner
But
with.
the chick that comes and says like, "Hey, he's talking about Claire and stuff like
No,
that." That's the
that's
chick at
his
dinner
like
at the end.
that's his like A girlfriend, like number
Okay.
A, letter A, and then B is the blonde one, and then he's got that third one that gave him like a peck on the cheek. Like, he does portray himself as a ladies' man, but if you're Virgil, are you taking serious relationship advice from someone that is deemed to be a bit of a player?
Yeah, I don't know. I see. I didn't pick up as they were his girlfriends. Yeah, but I think Virgil's just desperate and he doesn't know what like someone like that looks like. But
Yeah,
probably because they're doing a scam on him, they might be planting the seeds as well. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah, I agree. So, couple of flags for Virgil. Why isn't he ever questioning who's leaving all the clogs around? Robert knew what agoraphobia was like straight away, like within a split second. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's like when people are afraid to come out." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, I was like, "How the hell do you know that?" How quickly she comes out from behind the wall when he pretends to leave, like just out straight away,
Like,
like just
instantaneously. Like, she couldn't wait for him to leave, so she could go get something from the kitchen.
yeah, like Bob's girlfriend, Robert's girlfriend, warns him to be on his guard when he's talking about Claire, but like doesn't ever bring it up.
Yeah,
Robert doesn't take his money. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what do you mean you don't need my money to like build this friggin' thing?
yeah,
And then the biggest, well, not the biggest one, but she decides not to sell any of the antiques. Like, had she discussed what she was going to do with them? Like, is she paying to make the catalog? Like, what's happening?
yeah. Yeah, and that goes back into my question, like, how much did this scam cost? Like, if she's paying to get the catalog, they're paying the removers, obviously it's pricey out there because Virgil wouldn't do it otherwise. Like, they've obviously spent a lot of money, like, on this, but no, you're right. Like, some of that just doesn't make sense. Like,
Okay, letterbox rating. So, what are you giving the movie?
well, I already know what I'm going to give it, but I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. So 3.5 stars out of 5. I thought it is a niche movie, I think, hence sort of the budget, maybe the box office. But I do think it was beautifully crafted. I thought it was quite quietly gripping. I thought Jeffrey Rush really anchored this. It wasn't perfect, but pun intended, I thought it was well framed enough to land the 3.5 stars.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did three stars, so I thought it was enjoyable, captivating. Was interested and like excited to see what was going to happen next. As I kind of mentioned a couple of times here, I think I would have liked it just to be a little bit darker,
Mm.
and like maybe a little bit more of a darker twist at the end. But I gave it 3 out of 5, and my little letterbox review was Scrooge gets screwed.
That's good. I like that.
Rewatchable factor. So would you watch it again? Do you want to see a sequel? What are your thoughts?
Well, obviously, love to see that Liam Neeson revenge style flick with Virgil tracking down Billy, Claire, and Robert. Um, I think that would be good. In terms of rewatchability factor, I definitely think the film absolutely rewards someone a second viewing of it once you know the twist, because then you start noticing all the little tells, like, the staging, the character choices. I like the way that the clues are sort of hidden in plain sight. And I definitely think that the score and the production design was very nice. So, but I was going to say that it is sort of a slow burn mystery, and it is sort of a thriller with a single big emotional payoff. But once you've absorbed that, then it turns into maybe sort of like a drama movie, a bit more of like a mood piece than a thriller. But uh, sadly for me, the more I watch it, the less I like it. But I still do think it's a good movie.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so I enjoyed it. I sort of what you said. I enjoyed picking up on the cues the second time around and the twist. Like, for example, when she gives him shit about dyeing his hair, she stops dyeing his hair straight away. You kind of see that he kind of has his gloves off around her, or like whenever she's in trouble or whatever. And then she also, like, you can kind of see a bit of her transformation as well. So yeah, I thought it was second time around. I enjoyed it. Interesting though to hear that you, the more you watch it, kind of maybe you're getting bored of it or whatever. Sequel again, like you, revenge thriller would be great. Um, any final thoughts or any movies that you'd pair it with, or anything else you want to share?
Well, I had a Ron Burgundy sort of award. So that's when you don't know what San Diego stands for, like he does in Anchorman, but you make it up anyway. So the worst life lesson, the takeaway you absolutely should not apply in real life, which is at the end of the movie, don't uproot your life and move to Prague for a girl that will never, never meet you again. So there's no way that that Claire, if that's her name, is ever going back to Prague to meet up with Virgil. So, um, I did have a question to ask you, Ranks, but I want to hear your final thoughts there first.
Yeah, look, I didn't really have any final thoughts. I thought I covered everything. I liked though that what you just said, but the only movie that I thought I'd pair it with, I had a few, but I'll just name one:
Mhm.
Ocean's 11, just to be a little bit more lighthearted and a bit of fun.
Beautiful. I'm glad you brought that up. So I was going to say rank these scam slash con movies from 1 to 5. So I had Ocean's 11, Entrapment, The Best Offer, Gone Girl, and The Talented Mr. Ripley.
So I'd probably put Entrapment 5. Actually, best offer 5, Entrapment 4. These next three are probably hard for me. So what was it? Gone Girl, Ocean's 11, and
And The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Talon Mr. Ripley, Ocean's 11, Gone Girl 1. Maybe, yeah, just off the top of my head.
Well, I was going to say, it's funny, I had Entrapment at 5 as well. I actually do like the best time. I know I was sort of cracked on it a bit, but the first time I saw it, I really, really liked it. Like, I was more like probably going to give it like a 4 out of 5 stars, but because I have seen it quite often, it sort of has dropped a bit back. But I do like Gone Girl, put that at 2, Talented Mr. Ripley at 3, and Ocean's 11 at 4. So I do think Ocean's 11 is probably, out of those movies, is probably, like you mentioned, the most similar to that, where it's like a bit of a rip-off, but you see it from the people ripping off side in Ocean's 11, whereas in this movie, you're seeing it from Virgil the target. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up, everyone. So thank you so much for joining us for this first episode of In the Mood for a Movie. I've really appreciated it. I hope you've enjoyed and had some fun listening as we rambled along. If you've got any thoughts, hot takes, or movie suggestions, or just want to tell us what we're doing wrong in a very polite way, hit us up at inthemoodforamovie@gmail.com or follow us at In the Mood for a Movie on Instagram. Like and subscribe on Apple and Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Brad. I'm
Are
Jeremy.
you?
That is Brad. And we'll catch you next time. Next time, I believe we're breaking down a Jerry Bruckheimer classic.
Are we? We'll have to
Yes,
wait and
we
see.
are. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much.